the County Road Aid Fund and the LGA funds. Is there anyone here that showed up to talk about that? Okay. Just let the record show that nobody showed to speak on that. We'll go on to the visitor comments, and I'll get this started. I know we have 2 visitors here today that are helping us work on something brand new for the county. It's called RSVP. I'm not the expert, they are, but I'll just tell you a little bit about what I know. It's retired and seniors volunteer program. It's something that 4 of the counties in our PRL region have. We don't have it. We haven't ever had it. I think this is a golden opportunity for us to get involved in this program. It's difficult to get involved. There are grants involved that we're applying for. But the main thing that it does, it gives us an avenue or a set program so that we can get anyone over the age of 55, retired seniors, into a volunteer program. They can volunteer for government things, they can volunteer for a nonprofit, they can volunteer for charity, they can volunteer at the school. So we're wanting to do that. There's a lot of people here in our county that either have moved in or have lived here all their life that have expertise in so many different things that are able to help, able to give their time, their knowledge, and they want to. They just don't know where to be plugged in, and that's what this program will do. The main thing that we're focusing on, though, through this, it's a little bit different than what other counties may do, is we want to focus on veterans and veterans issues. How can we help our veterans in this area? American Legion joined us yesterday in a meeting. The meeting went very good. They had all kinds of ideas, different ways that we can help through providing them volunteers and the county can get involved. We owe these folks so much. A lot of times we get busy and we forget that. And this is our opportunity as a county to get involved in what a lot of people are already trying to do and want to do, and is help our veterans. There's going to be opportunities at the school and so forth. You know, if you've ever been to it, the thing that Terry White puts on for the veterans at the school is just, it keeps growing, and we're going to have to move it out of that little gym because it's too big for the little gym anymore.
Have too many visitors, don't they?
Yeah. So
everybody wants to see it.
That shows the interest and how many veterans we do have here. We need to step up. So I'm going to let you step up and say whatever you want to say about the RSVP and these guys, or somebody in the audience may have a question.
Well, I want to hand out a brochure and just give you an opportunity to see what RSVP is. As Wade said, RSVP is the Retired and Senior Volunteer Program. Yes, it's the same as yesterday's. And what it does, it gives people that are age 55 and older an opportunity to volunteer in the community, to give back to their home community. And for the first time, Lyon County has an opportunity to have somebody coordinate volunteers. And I know that would be a blessing to a lot of your agencies here that rely on nonprofits to do things. We invited Beverly to come today. She's our CSBG coordinator for PACS. And they operate a food pantry. So I talked to her yesterday after we finished talking to the veterans about getting some volunteers started there. And she said, "Oh, Carmen, I need office help." So if we have somebody to coordinate all of these things, then that will be helpful not only to the agencies, but it will be helpful to the volunteer. It gives the volunteer a reason to get up each morning. Gives them something to look forward to. I ran some numbers in preparation for this augmentation grant. And Lyon County, we service now 4 counties. We service Christian, Hopkins, Muhlenberg, and Trigg counties. Lyon County, 20% of your population are over the age of 65. and they want to get involved. They want to be able to help and do things in the community. So this is an opportunity for them to give back to the community that they're proud to call home. And not only that, they will make the community a better place with their service. I know many times in some of our other areas, a lot of agencies like your museums, your art museums, your libraries, they're not able to be open on the weekend. They, like everybody else, have experienced budget cuts. So through the RSVP program, these museums and art facilities are able to stay open on the weekends because they don't have to hire staff to take care of it. One of the main reasons for this grant augmentation is to focus on veterans activities. And when I approached Wade, I said, Wade, do you have an American Legion? Do you have a VFW? And he's like, yes, yes. And so he arranged this meeting yesterday, and we had a really good meeting yesterday. It was a brainstorming day. We sat around and we talked about what can we do for the veterans in Lyon County. And we had young veterans there at the meeting, and we had older veterans, people who had served in the Vietnam War. We had people there that served in Desert Storm. And actually, we even discussed the younger soldiers that have been in Afghanistan. So it's an opportunity to find out what the needs are throughout their age groups. And one of the main things that was brought out in that meeting was mentoring. That these younger soldiers need somebody to talk to and discuss their problems, somebody that can relate. And the VFW and the American Legion want to bring people in, and they want to help these guys. And so they're going to sponsor a pancake breakfast quarterly. So that's one way we can supply volunteers through the community to help prepare those meals and help serve, giving the veterans time to put their heads together and to greet and meet each other and get to know one another, and they can mentor the younger soldiers and get them prepared to go out and face the world in a different light. So we had a really good meeting yesterday, and a lot of positive things came from that. And I want to backtrack a little bit about the grant augmentation. This is the first time in history that we've ever had an opportunity to actually increase our funding. As you all know, funding levels from the federal government have been cut. And as a matter of fact, last year we were cut 20%. And what that means is RSVP was getting $98,000. 20% doesn't sound very much unless that brings you from $98,000 to $78,000. So it's a big hit. But because so many of the RSVP chapters throughout the nation closed because they weren't able to stay alive due to these budget cuts, it allowed an opportunity for us to go out into new areas. And Wade came up to me at a PAX board meeting, and he says, Carmen, what can we do to get RSVP in Lyon County? And I said, you know, you couldn't have asked me at a better time because we have an opportunity for this augmentation grant. So we're real excited about the opportunity to apply for this funding. I am working on the funding grant right now. I'm almost finished. I've got to work on the budget and get a few more numbers. And it has to be in on the 15th of this month. We won't know anything until probably September, whether or not we'll get the funding. But we're really excited about the opportunity, and we look forward to adding Lyon County as part of our RSVP program. That will be the 5th county in the Penarol. So we're really excited about that opportunity. And if you have any questions, I'd be happy to entertain them right now.
Carmen, you said from 98 to what?
78. It was 97,078. Yes.
How much is the grant for that you were asking?
Well, the minimum we can ask for is $7,000. But we can ask for whatever we want. They have expressed that You have to give a number of volunteers. It's $350 per volunteer. That would be the cost. We'll have to hire a staff person from Lyon County to take care of coordinating the RSVP activities. And they'll be the ones that will recruit volunteers in Lyon County. And we're hopeful to find somebody that's real dynamic, somebody that knows the community and knows everybody. And I know Lyon County's a lot like the other communities in our Penrod area. Small town, everybody knows everybody, so that's a good thing.
Everybody that goes.
Yes, sir.
Wayne, I don't have a question, but I'd like to say something to affirm what you said. It's been quite a while ago, but when we lived in Hopkins County, Dawson Springs, I served on the RSVP board at that time. And then when we moved to Christian County, I served on the county board. This is during the time of Rochelle Anderson was director.
Yes.
It was back quite a few years, I realize that. But besides the benefit to the community and the agencies and settings in which the volunteers serve, what I want to affirm more than anything else is what it does for the volunteers themselves. Just the understanding that even at this later stage of life, I don't like to think 55 over being a later stage of life, for obvious reasons. But just to wake up in the morning and know that you have a purpose. And that had a tremendous input and effect on those people who volunteered and so on. I certainly hope this goes through because it can be a benefit not only for the county, but in some ways even more so for those volunteers who take part.
Thank you. Appreciate your comments. It's true. Many times we think that, we're thinking about our community and how it's going to build our community. But a lot of times when people retire, they think, now what do I do? And if you've got people that don't have hobbies or anything to really look forward to, this gives them a purpose. It does give them a reason to get up and say, hey, I helped somebody today. I work with Beverly at the food bank, and we helped 10 people today. We gave them food, and they didn't have food to eat in their house. Those little things make such an impact on our volunteers. And so many times we don't think about that. But 55 is not that old. It's not to me anymore. I'm getting closer. Anybody else?
I was at the meeting yesterday, and Carmen did a great job, and we did a lot of, like Wade said, brainstorming, and a lot of good things came out of it. We was talking about volunteers yesterday. We have them at the library. They go over and read to kids. We have them in school. We have them in the food bank. We have volunteers out at the park, people that volunteered to help build that building. So we got 3 on the front row right here, but I can't find anything they can do. We're looking.
We'll find something
Yes,
for them.
I knew you would. That's why I had to mention that. But that's what we need. Sir?
You aren't married to my wife, are you?
No, but I worked on my list this morning.
Maybe they hadn't been asked, maybe.
You might be right, but we're asking them now, anybody in the county that when this gets in the paper, anyone that feels like they need to help or want to help do something, contact. This is our coordinator. I just hadn't told him yet.
Well, I had a guy walk in today and he said, I need something to do and I don't want paid.
That was our.
And it wasn't Steve.
It wasn't Steve? That's what I figured.
Yeah, I heard it. He'll be our new manager for the second district starting.
If people hear about it, in this community with so many retired people, they are looking for something to do.
It's true.
And if I wasn't married, I'd probably be looking for something to do. We got plenty to do.
When you're married, but if somebody finds you something.
That's exactly right.
I want you guys to shh.
Are you getting all this down?
I didn't write a word.
Oh, that's all.
I'm all for doing whatever we can to get better.
There are some benefits to being a volunteer through the RSVP program. We have a supplemental insurance policy to help if a volunteer gets hurt or injured when they're their, on a volunteer site, or if they have a car accident or whatever, we do have that available. Whatever their insurance doesn't take care of, RSVP's insurance takes care of that. Also, we have mileage reimbursement to volunteers. You all have a lot of people that live close to the lake that have to drive into town to volunteer, and we can reimburse them up to $20 a month on their mileage just for volunteering. Those are little things that we can do. We'll also have a special luncheon once a year for them as a thank you for their service. But those are what we can do, and honestly, the volunteers get a lot of blessings out of what they do. They don't do it for pay. They would never even consider doing it for pay. But they do it because they want their community to be a better place. And that's the one thing that I think that your judge has recognized, and he realizes that, you know, they can play a big part in Lyon County, and they can really put Lyon County on the map. I've even had volunteers to serve on industrial development committees that have ties with industries throughout the country, and they retire in your area, and you don't even know it. But they learn about opportunities to volunteer, and they can come and serve on these committees, and they can really help, maybe even draw industries into Lyon County. There are so many utilizations for volunteers, and they all get a blessing, as will your county and your community.
Any other questions or anything? Do you need anything from the court as far as supporting this for your application grant? Is there
I
something?
think it would be great if you could construct a letter that I could attach to this.
Okay.
With your blessing on it. I think that would be wonderful to have something like that, if you could do that.
Okay. Well, I'll just make a motion then that we proceed with this grant in support of the RSVP program.
Second.
Motion been made, seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay? Okay, I'll construct the letter for you as soon as.
Thank you very much. We
Thank
appreciate
you.
all of your support, and we're really looking forward to working with Lyon.
You was talking about volunteering and paying mileage to come to town to a meeting. And that, I don't think you really have to do that. I come to town, I'm not going to say it's embarrassing how much I come to town, sometimes 3 or 4 times a day. I try to get it all in one, but I don't. And I know there's not anyone hardly that don't come at least once a week, and you could change your schedule that much most of the time to come to town. You can
Well,
save that money for something else.
Right, and you don't have to take it. That's not something that's required. But there are people that need some help,
Right.
that actually do volunteer, and it's a struggle for them. They're on fixed incomes.
Right.
And if we can do that much for them so that they can continue to volunteer, we'll do that. PAX also has transportation, so if somebody needs somebody to pick them up to volunteer, we have elderly people on walkers, and I'm not kidding, that volunteer. But they still want to contribute, and they can. They may not have transportation, they may not be able to drive. PAX can pick them up and bring them to their volunteer site, and they can still volunteer. So those little things are something so that everybody can make a contribution. Thank you all very much.
Thanks for coming.
Appreciate
I
it.
appreciate it. Thank you all. While we're still in the visitor comment section, just got this just an hour ago. It's good news, so I want to announce it and talk about it just briefly. Back, I guess February of 11, second month I was here, one of the things that this court wanted to do was do everything we could to bring in companies that wanted to expand wireless internet. And we've been working on that ever since that day. We set aside about $2,500 in order to actually pay Todd to help us do that, help us work on that, because I needed help. We've spent about $1,200 so far over a year and a half. Yeah, I don't think he's turned in anywhere near what he's putting in. but we've got good news today, and I know that most of you may know about System Solutions. They're the company that's here currently. They decided that they were ready to move on from this, and when we found out about it, we started working behind the scenes to try to find somebody that could move in here, maybe purchase their equipment and expand. Actually, we had been in contact with this company. Their name is Q Wireless, even before System Solutions was considered selling their equipment. So it sort of all just fell into our laps and fell together for us. So we started working with them. Todd did a great job on that. And today they were able to put out their little information for immediate release, and they are purchasing System Solutions. That's all the equipment in Caldwell, Crittenden, Livingston, Lyon, Marshall, and then Massac County in Illinois. There's about 70 customers they have here in Lyon County, and those customers will not see any changes. They'll continue to get their service, and it's the intention of Q Wireless to expand, to find new customers, and there's plenty of them here. I'm one of them. I don't have good wireless service at my house either. So there's been a lot of people calling over the past year and a half. I've been telling them, yeah, we are working on it, and I hope now they can see that we were. This is very important to this community because, you know, we can have telecommuters, people who work from their home. I did that for 14 years right here in Lyon County. I worked right over here, and it was a struggle to find good internet service because that's what I needed. Home-based businesses, anybody that moves in here, it's economic development is what this is aimed at. So I'm excited about it. It's vital to our community, and this is good news. So I'm looking forward to them moving in. I've been talking with Nancy, the mayor of Eddyville, and she's excited as well. She's supportive of them coming in here and trying to expand their business. So it's a positive thing for Lyon County, and I just wanted to jump up and down and say yeah. So, any questions on any of that? All right, we'll move right along. Let's go to the minutes from April.
Motion to accept, please.
All right, motion's been made to accept the minutes.
Second.
Seconded. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. It passes. Road Department report. Sure all y'all got it there.
Tommy's gonna give that. Tommy will give that. He's back there, got it all memorized. No use writing it down.
How you coming along on your mowing, Tommy?
We just finished up in the first about 2 weeks ago. We'll be back in the second for 2 weeks, followed like another week and a half in the second, and we'll be back in the first again. Everything's looking good, and keeping it mowed back like we usually do. But it's going pretty good.
I'm hearing a lot of compliments on it looking good. And I think that, you know, starting early and
You know, we had to purchase tires to put on the Kubota. We didn't put any on it because we thought we were going to get rid of it. So we ended up purchasing 4 tires. And that ended up being around, I think the front ones were about $2,000 for the 2 front ones, and the back ones were about $3,000 for the 2 back tires. So that was expensive. We wasn't counting on doing, but we had to do it. We had 3 days in a row, we had flat tires, and have them repaired, and go back the next morning and be flat again. So we went ahead and purchased the tires for it. But that's been our only really big expense so far.
When did y'all start?
We started first week of April, I think it was.
Is it going back pretty bad?
Up in the first, if you go up around Friendship, some of the first parts that we mowed going through the first, it's already close to being high now already.
Yeah, you can tell you.
Well, you know, they've got more rain on that end up front. We've got them on this end. I don't know whether they're going down. They just got their out coming up right now. And they're going through it pretty quick, which is grass moving very tall. We didn't get much rain on this end of the county. But Charlie's in the county. They're close to an inch of rain. So it's really picked up there and grow fast.
I go out and weed eat a lot in my I weed eat a lot in my district. You can tell the difference too. And Charlie doesn't ever do that.
Around your house doesn't
Yeah,
have.
we do weed in Charlie district. We weed the guardrails, me and Ronnie Edmond, yeah, weed the guardrails. But we've since, after we weeded, we went back to spray some weed killer on all the sign posts and stuff, just make it easier on mowers. If they get up around, they're gonna knock them down, so we're trying to keep that happy.
I know his friendship this morning, this doesn't grow that good.
Yeah, it's almost me.
That's really growing, I don't know what, they haven't had it long,
So, like I said, they had more rain in Charlie district, we've had in the other two districts put together, so it's not growing real fast on this end, but on Charlie's end, it's growing pretty good.
That's part of my district that has got rain on, and that rain don't always.
We've been mowing Titus as we start back in the second, we go ahead and mow it with the second because people walk on it all the time.
Yeah.
And it wasn't growing up nothing like what Friendship in West Denver was.
Well, Titus is Buddy's road.
No, it's actually your road.
Well, thank you.
Well, I'll take that back. Part of it's your road, part of it's Buddy's. The gravel is Buddy's.
Okay.
The middle piece is Buddy's.
That's the one I always get. No blacktop, just gravel.
I guess while we're talking about it, let's go ahead and, the dozer.
Yeah.
Let's go ahead and talk about that because it's been offered to us at a price. And I just passed out to you guys. This is the amount that we have spent over the past 2.5 years. We've been renting it. We've spent $12,380 to rent it. The cost of buying it, he is put out there at $19,500. So
what do we use this dozer for?
Do what now?
Why do we need this dozer?
Well, if you've been down to Perry Springs Road, you'll see where we fix some ditches, and then of course we were going to use it down on Rusty Ridge, but the bank was too steep, so we did most of that with a grader and backhoe. But we've got this job coming up on Jenkins Road. We'll be using it on it. In world that we've got to redo a ditch, we've got enough room. We use a dozer. But you just, you can go through it a lot quicker. I mean, there's different places where we've had to use it on roads and stuff that got washed out. I called McKeel's about renting one from them before we rented from Joe, and they wanted like $1,270 a week to rent. And then I talked to Jerry after Joe passed away about keeping the same deal we had with Joe, and just keep it leased. And the way Joe did us is we kept it year round, whether we used it 5 or 6 times or none. He only charges for the hours that we used it. Jerry doesn't want to do that. He's trying to get rid of all the case equipment because he deals with all Caterpillar. So he's priced it to us for $19,500.
$19,500.
And the dozer appraised for $23,600. I mean, we don't know when we need one, we'd have to go rent one again.
We're going to use it.
It's a good tractor. It's
Jenkins Road.
Yeah, we're going to use it on Jenkins, and like I said, we've used it in Charlie's district, we've used it down in Speed district some. When we would have used it on Rusty Ridge Road, but the banks were so steep, we couldn't get the dozer up on it like we wanted to. So,
I mean, it's right there on the bubble. It's being
one of
used
those pieces of
enough.
equipment.
Yeah, maybe we can buy it, and then we don't use it all the time too. But you figure the hours that we've got here. It don't show the hours. How much do we pay per hour? Do you remember?
I think it's $40 or $50 an hour that we pay per hour of usage.
Well, we'll
I thought it was
say
65.
65.
I think it's cheaper. I think he was letting us do it cheaper because we had 2 guys
I think
that
it's right at
could operate it.
Let's do 50. That'll work for now.
Does anybody check the undercarriage on it?
Do what, Charlie?
Does anybody check the undercarriage on it?
Yeah, we put new undercarriage on it for Joe last year. He bought all the parts, and we actually done it in the evenings.
Y'all just put the rollers on it?
Now we put new rollers and the tracks were new on it, but it had 2 bearings go down and a roller on each side. So Joe bought all new rollers, and we redone the undercarriage part that hadn't been done. It's got a new belly pan stuff on it. They just put a new flex plate, torque converter and stuff in it. We backed it off and tried over at the park to clean that pad off when the new building was built, and the flex plate broke in it. But it's, that's one of them deals. They said probably about every 10,000 hours you're going to have a flex plate break. So
That comes to about 250 hours is how much we've used it in 2.5 years. I wonder what, like if we hired somebody, what they charge. Anybody know?
I have no
Well,
idea.
that gets pretty reasonable. And you don't have to worry about it. Now, you talk about a breakdown of 10,000, you won't get that out of the motor, I don't believe.
No, I don't think we would. That tractor's
You
only
get
got,
about 5,000.
that tractor's only got probably, it's probably got, I'd say it's got probably 10,000 hours on it, at
So
least.
that's about ready for overhaul.
Well, it was gone through before we got it. Joe went through before we got it.
Anybody hired a dozer man lately?
I think Jeff Hope's charges 65 an hour is what he charges.
That's, what's that, is that?
It's a little,
It's a little bigger than that.
it's a 950.
Can we transport it on the trailer we've got?
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, we transport it on the same car we pull the back on. Didn't want to, it's not as heavy as the back of it. Those is not as heavy as the back of it.
See if it's 247 times 65. You know, we would have spent 16,000 if we'd hired it all done instead of 12,000.
Anytime you get 65 for the Bobcat.
Yeah, if he gets 65 for Bobcats, I don't think anybody gets more than that for a dozer. I don't know.
I would think so.
I mean, I think Ryan told me he gets like 200 an hour. That's usually on a big dozer. I don't know what he
You
gets.
got his number? Yeah, you got it.
I'll tell you one thing, he makes the dirt fly, though.
Just
I
call
know a
him.
man's got a
and
Bobcat that gets 50, if y'all know that.
I know him too,
I've seen you.
but does he know how to use it? Charlie, you think he knows how to use it?
I don't know. I
Okay.
haven't watched him on.
Let me just call him and see if he gets an hour.
Was that an advertisement?
I should be
Should
a
I charge you?
conflict.
That sound like.
Cameron gets on and starts advertising.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Bobcat Cruise over here.
They didn't see me no more. I do know on a bulldozer or any piece of equipment, when you have a breakdown, it is expensive.
I wouldn't know.
Running metal with that. Well, I know a lot of people don't know.
He's not answering.
Okay.
But you know, like I said, we know how to work on the dozer, so.
I know,
Unless it's a motor, unless the motor goes down, you're going to have somebody fix it. But
and y'all done the work for him, did he pay you for that?
no, we done it for.
The county paid.
He took it off our hours that we run the dozer.
All right, he paid for it.
Well, we done it in the afternoons after work, and Jason did, and he just took it off the hours that we'd already owed for, hadn't paid yet.
Y'all done it off the clock, y'all didn't charge any overtime or nothing for it? That's nice.
John always took pretty good care of us, so we tried to help him out.
We'll miss him more.
Yes, sir. Fine fellow. And here's the deal. I mean, you know, it's totally up to y'all. You don't have to buy it. We'll rent one from Ryan or whatever we need to do. But I think they're just giving us first option on it if we want it, because I think Howard Smith and them done said they would buy it if we did. So
How long is this job out of, Jeep?
we're going to try to do it in 5 days. We're going to close it off every day for 7 and open it back up to 3. The only reason that we're opening it back up, well, the only reason we're closing is because we're going to pull most of that dirt out of the road and then load it. So that's why we're going to close it off. But we're going to reopen it every day at 3 o'clock. We're hoping to have it done in 5 days. So that's what we're looking at. That's our part. You know, we're still going to have the tree guy come through there and trim out some trees that for line of sight, so you can see from one hillside to the next.
Well, didn't y'all used to cut them trees? I know it's been.
We run the boom mower through there as high as we can reach, but there's still, you know, if you come around that curve where that trailer is, if you come across from the cemetery, but as you come out that curve from there to that hill where they had the bad wreck, you can't see that hillside at all. There's a lot of foliage. Like I said, on the dollar, it's totally up to you guys. Like I said, we'll work out something with Ryan, rent one from Ryan, or whatever we need to do when we need one.
So from the way Ryan has done us, as far as I'm concerned, he's really done us a good job. Now, I've heard some complaints about it, but when you get a job bid for half of what the others do, I don't know why you can complain about it.
No, we ain't.
One job bid, one guy bid 98,000, he bid 42.3. I'm gonna go that way. You know, when I done it for the county, I voted for
Can you
him.
just call me back? Let me call him back real quick to see what he charges an hour if we rent that forward from him.
Tell them to give us senior citizens discount on the
We
RSP.
want the county discount.
Let him go in there and do it.
Right. That's time. I got a question for you. If we rented your little Ford, like we did this case and we kept it till quarter, if we went to rent it from you, what would you get an hour on that? $30 an hour. Okay, that's all I need. That's that. No. Well, I think we're paying about $140 but they talking about 9 juries per 7, but I figured if we could just rent to the community, I just think they had, you know, about something.
That answered that question.
That's a Tonka toy, $30 an hour, that's a Tonka.
So if we need it anytime we get it.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, that sounds good. Right. Okay, that's all I need, right? Thank you.
That was a senior citizen discount, wasn't it?
Well, let's, and the thing we need to do is make sure check with other people in
Well,
there. And
I said that the Ford's available anytime we need it for $30 an hour, so I say we'll let.
Well, you need to check rates with other people,
And what
just to
size
give
motor
everybody a
is
chance.
It's 850, it's about the same size as a Ford, maybe a little bit bigger than a Ford. But that Ford Orion's got to do anything we need to do, so. I mean, that's, you're not gonna get it any cheaper than that, you better off probably stay like you are, if we need one, we'll go rent one from him.
And we don't have to worry about any
We
break.
don't have to worry about any breakdowns.
Let's do this, I know we got Jenkins coming up, we're gonna be using it there. If you would ask the owner of the one we've got right now, if he would allow us to do Jenkins, and then if he wants to pick it up.
Yeah, he will, we own some hours on it right now, I told him we had a job coming up, was gonna use it on.
Okay.
So he just told me when we were done with it, and if we weren't interested in buying it, then come get it until we're done. So we'll just do that.
Anybody interested in buying it? Not really.
I think we're better off.
I just want to use a couple hours, $60.
I guarantee you won't find nobody less than $30.
Nah,
I know, you need to check, just for
That
fairness.
sounds good.
I would,
Check around.
I would.
All right. County Road Aid Cooperative Contract, this is the thing we sign every year. Just need to,
Well, now, wait, are we through with the dozer? We've said no, not gonna buy it.
yeah, so,
Do we need a motion that we're not buying it?
no, yeah,
So,
No action.
you just talk, no action taken. Just-
Let him-
okay, and stay here. The CRA Cooperative Contract and Resolution, just need a motion to accept the resolution, and then I'll sign this and get it back to them. Sure. I saw a copy of
What do you have for?
County Road Aid Contract. This
Should
is
be
it right here.
towards the back, is where mine was. Mine was
I don't come in here short-handed.
Here, you can see
You've
mine.
been looking over those all day, that's why you probably lost them.
I probably did, yeah, I've seen it.
I bet it's in there. Just gotta find it.
Yours in there, you just turn it over somewhere.
Somebody's messing me with it. Like me.
Tommy was out there looking at Jenkins Road a while ago, and Bill was moaning. Tell him I just praised him in court. So he-
You're doing a good job.
Tell him he only knocked over 4 or 5 fence posts, but I thought he.
Which needs knocked down anyway.
Yes, yeah, Ryan Toes blowing down.
Yeah.
Tell him I didn't know he was supposed to be knocking them down.
This is a contract where they hold 3% back, of course, for emergency and so on. I just need
400
a
something $1,000.
motion to accept the resolution.
I'll make that motion.
Motion been made, seconded by Steve. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Resolution passes. NFIP amendment, this is for the second reading. National Flood Insurance Program.
Make a
This was
motion.
the amendment.
I make a motion to accept that.
Joe, I think I've got yours. Motion been made, seconded by Charlie, to accept the second reading of the amendment, and then I guess you will publish the amendment.
Would you please announce what you just done? I couldn't find it.
You stuck it in there because you were digging through my file. NFIP second amendment, or the second amendment, second reading.
Oh, you have it, I've already, I made the motion, we accept it, second reading. Charlie second.
I'll give it to you. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Amendment, that was the second reading of it, and we'll have final passage next month.
After publication.
Yes. Which Brandon's taking care of. All right.
Number 11, road viewer, RV Court.
Had a call for they wanted us to send viewers out to see if Barbie Court could be added to the road system. So I said I'll put it on here to see if you guys want to send viewers.
It doesn't meet, I'll just tell you right now, it doesn't meet spec.
Is what, Tom?
It won't meet spec. There'll be no spec.
We don't make it, we don't make it.
Well, can we do that? Say,
But we want to send out road viewers.
Let's at least send viewers out just so we have it officially. So I make the motion we send the viewers out.
second.
Motion been made, seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay.
Barbie Court. And log cabin also, we do it also.
Huh?
Log cabin also, we need to redo it.
We didn't do it.
Yeah, we done it, but it's, the job, what, do I don't need to fill that other, that new thing out, I mean.
You got a thing in here.
Yeah, but I mean, we've got a new thing to go back, just for looking at roads instead of subdivisions.
Okay.
Did you want me to still redo that?
Yeah, we're gonna have to redo it because it's not in a.
It's not a subdivision, so.
Okay, I'll explain that in just a second.
Okay, so this motion is for Barbie Court only?
Yes, ma'am.
correct? Okay.
The next one is the speed limit ordinance for Rice Road, Mammy Pugh, Tinsley Creek, Buddy Fredericks. It would be the second reading, setting that at 35.
I make that motion.
Motion made, seconded by Charlie. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Second reading passes. Next item, as Buddy said a while ago, we drove Jenkins Road. We're trying to do what we can out there to make it a little bit safer. It's a dangerous road. One thing we need to do, among other things that we're working to do, is to set the speed limit. We drove it today. We really think 35 is a fair speed. There's even times where you got to slow down much slower than that around curves and so forth. 35. 35. What were you doing? Speed limit ordinance? Yeah.
But this is for January.
What's that? Oh, it was 35 for that one, too. Those 4 roads? Yeah.
Is this on the county's portion of it?
Yes. Does it start right after the bridge, our portion?
Actually, it starts at the bridge.
At the bridge. So, setting at 35, this would be the first reading, of course, of this ordinance. 35.
And this is the first.
First reading.
This is the first reading.
Now I'll make that motion.
Second.
Motion been made, seconded by Buddy. Any discussion?
No, I got a man that watches me down there. I don't know what he's going to do. This man Leo's got in my district. He watches me. Don't you, Sam? I see him traveling on the road block, and I appreciate it.
I told him to watch the place. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. Okay, first reading passes. The next one, we've got Trinity Lane, Log Cabin, and Coppersmith Cove viewers report. They're all 3 in here. I suppose you guys have looked through them. Here's one thing that we're going to have to do with Log Cabin. The reports that we give these viewers has been for subdivisions, and we have a separate ordinance for just county roads, normal county roads. So I rewrote a new checklist for them, and because it's different criteria. So he's going to have to take the viewers back to Log Cabin Road and do it with the correct criteria. So
you'll have to pay that.
yeah. No, actually, it's been going on for a while. So actually, we'll probably have to make two motions here. One to, I guess, table Log Cabin while the viewers look at it, and the other would be to decide on what we're going to do with Trinity Lane and Coppersmith Cove.
Have y'all talked to anybody about the guardrail ordinance?
Here's where we're at on the guardrail ordinance. When the gentleman was here last month, I can't remember his name, but anyway, he was representing Coppersmith Cove. He said that they had some type of regulations that they met that said that we didn't need guardrails.
That's slope.
And something about the slope, and I asked for a copy of that, and I never got it. Talked to Tony Ramey about it, and he didn't have anything on it. He said, we don't have a guardrail ordinance here. So we really have nothing to base on what we're going to do with guardrails other than
We don't have anything to base the guardrails on, but till we approve it, it can't be accepted anyway.
Did you write this, Tommy?
Yes, sir.
Well, I feel like the fire road foreman said we need guardrail.
Yeah, it's a greater than 4-to-1 slide. I mean, we're not even going to be able to mow those because it's too steep. It's just like on the curb and gutter, we're not going to be able to mow that at all. Maybe one past the boom mower, because they're not going to want us getting those bush hogs against those curbs and breaking the curbs, and they're going to want us to fix the curb. Same way with snow plow. When you go in and plow snow, you're going to have snow piled up yay high in the curb and gutter. It's not going to drain. So they've got issues that we're going to have to deal with if we take it in.
Well, he agreed here in the meeting.
He agreed to what I
that
read
they
in
take
the
care of
reports.
signage, and that they take care of.
They're going to take care of their own signage, and then they're going to take care of. He agreed to one pass with the mowers in there. It's about one pass is all we're going to get. Even with the bush hogs, it's so steep. The bush hogs will slide off the road.
I'm not going to make an ordinance or not an ordinance, but a motion, but I think that we need to have all of this that we're talking about in writing, and they sign it.
Yeah, I agree.
People start moving in.
How
can't do
long do you think it would take to mow that out there?
A day. I mean, one pass a day, or a couple hours, one pass. I mean, if we have to mow it like we mow everything else, we're probably talking about a whole day. But we won't be able to mow it like we mow everything else because the slopes are greater than 4-to-1. You're going to have to keep a tractor up here where the road's pretty level, and the bush hog is going to hang off and just kind of go along. I'd be scared to turn a tractor up down there. Try to mow pretty much.
How much do you figure a day it costs to mow it?
To mow that out there, you're probably looking at one tractor, you're probably looking at 15 gallons of fuel. So we pay $2.57 a gallon for the off-road fuel. So you're probably looking at $40-50 for one pass out there just to mow.
I'm talking about everything, a man, tractor.
Oh, well then, $17 an hour for your man running the tractor. Or 16, whatever he makes.
$300 or
You're
$400.
probably talking $300-400.
They said they got it mowed for $300. And they ain't no danger.
But I said, what these guys are doing, though, that whoever's been mowing it, has just been making that one pass, 5 foot wide, and that's what they agreed to with us. But like I said, the curb and gutters, we're going to have.
That's what I want in writing, is they want one
The
pass.
curb and gutter is going to be the issue. When you hit that curb and gutter, one of them mowers, you're going to tear it up. You're going to tear it.
It's not going to hold very well, is it?
No, sir.
Did somebody say something different than 300?
I thought you told me 200. Because I told him I needed to call him.
You need to get it motion for you,
That's awful cheap for that place. I would mow it for $5.
I mean, it's going to be dangerous here. I mean, it's pretty steep.
All right. so I can get that done. I'll get in contact with him and see if we can get that, or you can write something up and send it to me.
And I don't know if any of y'all have looked at, been out there and drove the roads that's actually out there, but there's places that need guardrails. If you go off that in the wintertime, you're going to the lake. There's nothing there to stop you.
Well, if they don't have guardrails and somebody goes over it and we maintain the road, is that on us? Is that liability to the taxpayers of the county?
If we have guardrails, I called a friend of mine from Medford up in Pike County. And I asked, I said, do y'all have a guardrail? That's a sign boss gave me. I called him and he said, no, we don't, buddy, because we've got so many mountain roads up here, especially in the county. He said, we couldn't afford to put up guardrails on all the roads. So, I mean.
But see, here's the difference. I mean, these guys are wanting this road taken into the county system. We ought to be able to stipulate what we want on the road before we take it in.
That's exactly right, John. We don't, we may not
There's
have a guardrail ordinance, but that's what we want to take it in.
Exactly.
And if they don't want us to take them in, they can keep their 300.
I mean, on Trinity Lane out there, you come off the bed, and it's straight down.
And we haven't got that many houses out there yet.
Side.
I don't know why we need to take it in until they get through with the heavy trucks rolling over it and all that.
Now's the only time you'll have leverage over them to get garbage
Exactly.
out there. Once we take it in, it's what it is.
Exactly.
Once we take it in, they want toll booth and lines and everything else. And
It's only 4
I mean, once we take it, I got no problem with doing what we do. I mean, we take care of it.
Right.
But we don't have stipulations on what.
But that's the thing about it is we need to get it right the first time rather than going back
Yes.
and somebody else in. And I'm still going back to Bell Hollow.
Yeah.
There's a local contractor that we asked to do it. He did it.
He did do it.
He did do
He
it.
did do it.
No question.
No
He
question.
did it. Now, they're gonna do it or they're gonna take us to court. I don't know what they're gonna do, but I'm not voting for it. That's
What
my
needs to
thing.
be our action plan? What do we need to do?
Tell them we want the guardrails.
Yeah, but we need to be able to tell them at least where. What would we be satisfied with?
Well, I'll take Tommy's word for what.
There's only one spot in Coppersmith, there's only one spot on Trinity Lane, but they're both on hillsides, and they both got 30, 40-foot drops off the sides of it.
And how many feet are you talking about as far as guardrail from
How much?
one
Well,
point?
I'll have to measure it, but on Trinity Lane, it's pretty good distance. Coppersmith Cove is they're probably looking at 2,000 feet, 1,000 foot on each side. But Trinity Lane is probably more than that.
Okay, so I can take to him the contract saying, you know, you guys take care of signage, it's one round moment, and this is how much guardrail we believe is needed there. If you can do that, then.
Did I have it wrote in that report about the curb and gutter? Did I have that wrote down?
I didn't see it.
You got the mowing, will be one pass, equipment to do slopes, too steep, and then curb and gutter. Also, there needs to be a section of guardrail installed.
Yeah.
You just mentioned curb and gutter.
Well, I mean, the curb and gutter is going to be an issue with mowing.
With what mowing?
And the snow. I mean, you're going to have, you've got curb and gutter all the way around this one section. When you go in there in the wintertime, you plow snow off, it's going to be piled up in their gutter. And their gutters are not going to drain. So you're going to have water refreezing running back across the road. It's going to be an issue. I mean,
So because they placed this in along the road, then it's going to cause an issue with other things down the road.
yes, ma'am.
So it would have been better if that hadn't been there.
Yes, ma'am.
It looks good.
It looks good.
It looks good when it's weather like this, and raining and nice rain and stuff, but in the winter when that snow piles up on it, it's.
So is it possible then that when you go through there, you could tear it up?
Yes, ma'am.
So
It's
if
real
it's
good.
gone, then it's gone.
It's gone, it's gone. I mean, what, I don't want to replace it one.
Well, that'd go back again, see, we're not in the gutter building business.
Okay.
I'm glad we got something for you to do next week.
I do.
I'll tell you what,
I was wondering what I was going to do all day.
That's what I thought, I figured we needed something to do.
And Memorial Day is the 28th.
Yeah.
What's that, man?
Oh, I was with Tommy the other day, and he goes, Memorial Day is 21st, we've got to start this day. So I started sending emails to the school because I thought they'd scheduled a game on the Memorial Day, the district tournaments, and none of our people would be out there working, and I was fussing at them, and then they were like, that's the wrong, that's not Memorial Day.
Just want to keep him on his toes, didn't I?
So,
He
anyway.
does me that way.
All right, so what do we need to do here? Just, do we table, what are you gonna do? I guess we'll have to table it. I guess we'll have to table both Log Cabin and Coppersmith Cove, knowing that with Log Cabin, he's gonna
I make
redo
a
it.
motion that we table that till we get,
What we want.
Till I take care of the things.
till you take care of what we want.
Okay.
Us old people are hard to
Is
please.
that on all three roads there? Trinity, Log Cabin, Coppersmith?
Yeah, might as well do all three because you tabled them all. for
Yes.
specific
What about
reasons.
Trinity?
Yeah, same way guard, the only issue we have on Trinity is gonna be the guardrail. That's the only thing that's holding it back is the guardrail.
Well, the problem there, do we have an owner of this road to talk to? Or is it,
Lighthouse Properties, same people as New Coppersmith Company.
oh, it is?
Is it not same? It is Lighthouse
It
Properties.
is like that. Yeah, he's been calling and asking about status. So I-
That's great.
Okay.
Says here, the committee feels that there needs to be some ditching redone,
Yeah, on the Trinity Lane, some ditching in the guardrails.
guardrails put up on hillside and so.
Tell me what you want the motions though.
Well, you need to do all three then.
Table the reports on all three roads until further,
Action that's been discussed.
Should we talk to the mayor and his two buddies? What about both?
Speaking of the mayor, did you lose a hat last time he was here? An orange one?
I might have.
I got it.
It's
It's in my office,
Okay.
so don't forget it. Okay, motion been made to table and take further action on those three.
Second,
Y'all tied.
third,
Okay, Steve won. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. You ready to go on?
Now I can look Dennis Faulkner in the eye.
Dennis did without question. I told him what we need to do, and he does it.
Needed. I mean, he'd rather not spend
He'd
$17.
rather not spend money, but
I
he
understand.
did understand.
Next item is the tire amnesty. We don't need a motion or anything, just wanted to thank the road crew for the hard work they did out there. We collected 4,127 tires.
And I looked through every one of them, and I couldn't find anything that fit anything I had. It's
Yeah.
all used.
You did
3
really
days.
good.
I went out there and they jacked my truck up. I took my tires. They thought I was doing it.
well, I just wondered, I tore up $3,000 worth, I wonder if y'all want to pay.
Yeah, that's what.
We'll take care of you.
4127, which is a really big number considering we're one of few counties that actually take tires all year long. So that was a huge number, and we want to thank Jordan Yates too for all that he did out there. So
Yeah, they look great.
they did a lot.
And Crittenden County was next to us. They had 6 tires.
Yeah, the county had 6 tires. So
But it's going on in Caldwell this week, so I
just tell them to bring it to us.
6 tires.
6 tires.
Yeah, that's what Joanne told us. So.
Don't care what good bad.
Well, they got good roads.
They got good roads on there, just going to tear up 6 tires.
All right, Board of Assessment, County Clerk.
yes, our local board of assessment will be meeting in the month of June after the books close. And we have 2 members that need to be reappointed for that, and that is Bob Austin and, lost the other guy's name. What's his name? There's Mr. Oh, Sarah. Keith Young. Bob Austin and Keith Young for a
Have they
term.
agreed to it?
Yes, they have, for a term of 1 year.
I'll make a motion to reappoint them.
Second.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Passes that both of them are reappointments, right?
Yes.
Okay. Do you know the term?
1 year. It goes from June 1, 2012 to June 1, 2013.
Speaking of boards, Denise Sutton, we thank her for her service. She has been on the Lyon County Health Board for some time now, and she has resigned. So I spoke with the one that's related to me.
I'll make a motion that we accept Tammy. Yes.
I'll second.
Okay. Motion been made and seconded to appoint Tammy Guest to the, I guess what she'll be doing is serving out the remainder of Denise's term. I should have put on here how long that is, but I'll have to double check. Although, any discussion on that? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. All right. We'll let her know. And she was enthusiastic about it. KCO All Lines Fund Policy Renewal. We met with them the other day. Buddy, were you in there? Is that you? Was it?
I was in there when Mike was in there. But the only thing that we talked about, I haven't found anything out. I've called them and we're going to discuss it the 23rd.
Okay, so we've got any wait?
We can wait on this. It doesn't have to be paid right now.
Okay. But what we're doing is, as far as the increases, there was some decreases. So
You got it there, show it. It's on the back there.
Oh, there it is. On the back page. Let's see.
Property,
Physical property for auto went down 16%.
the rest of them, that's about the only one that went down, but that's 16% on them.
The issue that we're having is they're wanting to charge us premium for each district because there could be a constable. And we've only got one constable.
They want to charge us $1,800.
And the constable, you can have up to whatever your districts are.
Sure.
So all across the state, there's several large counties that have big districts that may have one constable in the whole county. So this just doesn't involve us; it involves everybody.
I called John Wilson, judge executive of Garrard County, and he said all of their positions weren't filled either. And he said he didn't realize that either. And he said we'll bring it up. He's the president of KCO, so we're going to bring it up the 23rd to talk about it.
Mr. Buddy is on the KCO board, so he's going to build a big coalition and push this and get this taken care of.
I'm not doing too good on documented votes, but
So I move we table this.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion passes unanimous. The next one is the first reading of the administrative code. I make a motion that we accept the first reading of the administrative code.
Now, I just need to be sure, is this an amendment to the current administrative code?
This will replace the current administrative code.
So it is amending the current.
Yes,
It's amending
its entirety.
It's amending the previous ordinance.
Okay.
Previous ordinance.
I don't have that number, but
Previous ordinance and their amendments, because it's the entire
package in it.
administrative code, yes.
Do we have anything that's going to do what?
let's see.
You want to talk about it? Do we have anything that's going to hang us up? Is this for everybody?
Well, you all already voted
Yeah.
to adopt it back in September.
That's what I'm saying.
This is just going to put it in the form of an ordinance.
Will this make it right? Will this make it right with your folks?
Can we change anything in it now? if we want to?
Yes.
Yes.
And you can change something between the first reading and the second.
Yeah.
So if there's some
Well,
issues.
I think we sort of jumped the gun there on this vacation days. We get some vacation, some not. I don't know if we want to give that much or not. They work 20 days a year to get 13 days vacation. 13 days, is it 12 days holidays? 12 days holidays, so that knocks it down to 20, that's down to 19. And then sick days, and then
Well, it matters how long they've been here.
a month, one for every month.
It matters how long they've been here.
And we talked about, what, a week for 5 weeks? I don't forget what it was. Yeah.
I don't know what you mean, a week for 5, what?
Additional vacation. How much additional vacation did we get?
We didn't, they just accrue it, they accrue vacations. Just like any job we accrue. It's the same plan that the state has.
Tell me what that is.
I don't know, I could just look at that.
I can't remember.
Well, the best thing to do is before we do the second reading, let's sit down and go through it.
That's a good idea.
I'll second it, Dan, and then we can discuss it. Next time we can find
Who
out.
made the motion?
What, Judge?
Oh,
All right, all those in favor of passing the first reading of the admin code, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Okay, passes. Sheriff settlement tax reports, are they in there?
Sam's here to give that.
now, Sam,
Sam, Ken usually comes up here and stands before the camera and gives it.
Defer that to the tax division, and I can go get them.
I'll make a motion to accept the sheriff's.
And so the way the motion probably needs to read is that we approve this subject to audit.
Okay, yeah, okay, that sounds good to me. Subject to audit.
Motion been made, I'll second it. Any discussion on any of it? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. That passes. The next item is the grand old budget. We have had a first reading. This will be the second reading and adoption.
Let's just don't adopt one, let's just get a spending plan like the state used to have.
We've got, on the budget, we've got a good looking park out there, it looks nice, I'm proud of it. But I feel like we need to cut the budget for that a little bit more. So I'll make a motion that we cut it down to 70%,
we didn't spend it all.
Well, we're at 66% right now of 105. Is what we have spent so far. Let me see where we're at there. How do I do that? Somebody, mathematician, 69,000. All right, we've spent 69,300. So if you cut us down to 70, we would be out of money after today.
but yeah, we should have made it next year, probably.
That's for next year.
That's the next year, 2012.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You know, it does cost money to have a nice park.
I know it does, it costs money, but we've got other things we need money to. We're not talking about.
We've cut the budget over $600,000 this year.
I understand that.
So let's take that money and put it in blacktop. I mean, we have cut, you're wanting to cut one of the things that people brag on more than anything else. So we need to be very careful if we decide to do it. We've already cut it from 105 to what was it, 85? Was it 80? So it's almost a 25% cut.
So we had 10 more percent from that.
And if we do this, I guess we will have to delay our budget, which I don't know how much time we've got, but we've got to get it to the state, so we can have special call meetings though.
You know, they say that, but now that's what gives me, they want a full year without budget.
Well, I know, they know us to a different light, don't they?
Well, their light, our light aren't about the same. What do they do to us?
I think you can put the judge in jail, but you can't touch a mattress.
Is that so, Sam?
Cutting it down to 73.5?
Right, and
To
one
do
thing,
that, okay.
to 73.5. Now, we've got a second, and we've got discussion. As far as I'm concerned, you know, you're talking about $6,500. You know, how much blacktop can you do for $6,500? I don't know any roads that we can pay for $6,500. We even need to make the road adequate. We're gonna have to do that for the next couple of years. We've got a lot of paving to do, and that's why when I did this budget, I went through and I cut all kinds of things, including the park. I cut it down, but I don't know, I hate to see us gut something for $6,000, thinking that that's gonna make our roads better when we've already cut it, and we've got other cuts that we can put in there, so that's
What's this right here?
I think they didn't have their own meeting. I just wanted you to see.
He's talking about gutters on the new building?
That's not ours, that's ambulances one.
Oh! Oh, yeah, that's happening, yeah.
Anything, buddy?
Oh, sure, I'm just listening.
Let's vote.
All right, I guess we'll do raise a hand since we're going to have opposites. All those in favor, raise your right hand.
Favor of cutting?
Yeah, 73.5. All those opposed? Guess I'm the Lone Ranger. All right, we'll cut it down to 73.5.
Where's the money gonna go to?
All right, I guess that needs to be the next motion.
And it was, what, 80, what did we have, 85, 83?
80. It is 80.
80.
It was 105 this year,
This past year is 105, we cut it to 80.
and now you cut it again.
73.5.
80% of our 105.
Well, it was, we just said it at 80. Yeah, I know. We're going to get Denise because we need to put that 6,500 somewhere.
I had a person tell me the other day, said, we sure have a nice park. And I said, we do. But you don't realize what it costs. I don't nobody realize what it costs.
Well, that's just like having a nice yard or a nice house. It takes money to take care of it.
That's right.
Okay, we put the money.
Well, you gotta have a strong back, but somebody gotta buy that.
I don't know, we'll see what Denise tells us to do, I have no idea. And I don't know what we need to do is, I don't know how. I'm gonna take a little break.
We can probably divide that money up to saving it, though. Give it to each one of those guys sitting on the front row so they can blacktop something.
And you said once a month?
Yeah.
You better get to know her.
Get her what?
You better get to know her. I'm taking her out for dinner tonight.
Good, I don't.
I want to get off of that lawsuit.
Oh,
Oh, yeah, now you're knowing something.
I can take her out.
Can you tell us where we're gonna put this money that we saved from the park?
On the budget, on the new budget?
Wait, I guess Charlie will be back.
6,300.
Yeah.
They voted to change this from 80 to 73.5.
So now we have to take the budget back to Frankfurt. If you change it at this point, because Frankfurt has already approved the budget as is, so if you're changing it now, and we've advertised it in the paper, already paid for the ads, now we have to send it back to Frankfurt, re-advertise, and pay for another ad, and then
We'll have to cut it down more to pay for that, or
Well, why is it sent to Franklin if we hadn't approved it?
because, well, they've approved this budget
the way it is.
the way it is. So now, if we're changing it, then we have to send it back to Frankfurt. They'll approve it then, to make sure everything's okay. And then,
What I was asking, why would you send it to Frankfurt if we had final approval?
well, they have to make sure it's okay. It's to, everything that's required to be in there has been put in there. They make sure, and there wasn't any changes on their end. And then if we change it at this point, then it has to go back to Frankfurt. I mean, that's why the changes,
Bobby, can we get the senior citizen discount on advertising, advertising the budget?
We have to talk to somebody.
It's a legal- legal ad,
I don't know.
that has to be done.
Do we not have time enough for that to go through?
Yeah, but it's gonna cost probably, how much is that cost to do that?
I don't know how much that ad was. Just put it in there. It's a decent size ad, I don't know if y'all saw it. Is that all that you're changing?
Yeah.
But you'll have to put it somewhere,
Yeah, that
so that'll be the other thing.
6,500. You want to put it in the senior citizens?
No,
What did you say, number one?
senior citizens, we'll put it in the Folgers coffee can if we need to park with it. No, I would put it, what about the general fund?
Yeah, where in the general fund? It'll stay in the general fund, but where you're wanting to put it.
It's a lot of trouble to save money nowadays, isn't it?
Well, I mean, that's why we had our special call meeting. That's why we had our first reading. That was the time to
Make the
Set back.
changes.
What do we do with all that $600,000 you saved?
Well, that's,
If you remember.
I mean, I'd just like to know
Our
that.
special call.
Sam, did you get any of it?
You helped out for 8.
I know, and we settled it, and we voted on it. And even you voted to have it be eight.
Wish I'd have tied it up.
Well, I can't even withdraw this if it's gonna cause all that much confusion.
No, that's what you have to do. If you change it
I
at
mean,
this point,
if that's what y'all want, I mean, you voted for it, so I mean, it's okay. I mean, this is what we're just going to do now.
That's what we do. If we stay with this vote, 3-1, we have to send it in, have to put it somewhere. And I've got this little account set up in Switzerland.
Make that motion, you rescind that motion.
Will that be legal?
Yeah,
I don't know our legal
make a
guys.
motion to
Withdraw the motion.
Withdraw the motion.
I'll make a motion to withdraw the motion.
And I'm second.
And I'm voting for it.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay? Okay.
Only reason I voted with Wade, just to see what we do.
All right. Budget passes. We'll move forward. The budget's just stay here. The next item of business is the budget. Let's see, where the budget amendment. This is to the 11/2012 amended. If you got any questions, the treasurer is here to answer.
What was it for?
that's mainly just some smaller items. Mostly the revenue was more than what was in the budget. The main thing that we had to do was the $21,000 grant on the radios. And then we had the biomass grant, some more in that, $56,000. And then also transferring the FEMA money that all of it went into general fund, about $87,000 of it needed to go over to the road fund. And so that needed to be done too. And then the rest of it's just smaller items.
I make a motion, we accept the transfers.
No, budget amendment.
Budget amendment, excuse me.
I'll second that. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. And that's done. Transfers. Thank you, Denise, appreciate it.
Make a motion, we accept the transfers.
Second.
Motion been made and seconded on the transfers. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed, nay. Interfund transfers.
I'll make a
Richard, two.
motion on that.
Motion been made and seconded, or I'm sorry. I'll second that. Motion been made and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Transfers.
Make a motion, we accept the finance officer's report.
Motion been made, seconded by Charlie. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. Treasurer's report.
Make a motion to accept that.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion passes for the treasurer's report. What's the day? 10. Claims. Any questions on the claims?
Well, I noticed on Promised Land, another 1,300, man, this tree trimming's getting expensive.
Yeah.
Why, the boys out there used to do that, what are they doing now that they're not doing that way?
I thought gas used to do it.
Oh, not that much, he might do $5,000 to $6,000 a year, would he?
Well, I mean, you had to ask them. So, we're still cleaning up the canyon. You've got dead trees that are hanging over the roads, and that was the point. Now, this money you see here comes from Oriole Drive. We had to do a whole lot of new work out there on Oriole Drive because of the way the water was flowing and everything. So there had to be some trees removed out there.
Well, a lot of these trees are cut off the right of way. To me, if they're gonna cut them, those boys out there can cut those trees and push them back on the people that own them and not carry them off. Didn't they carry a lot of wood out to this last thing they had out there at the park? Promised Land.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they provided the wood out there.
And our boys cut some of it up.
I cut it up.
You did? They didn't cut any?
Well, he took it out there and cut. No. Road department didn't do
I
anything.
misunderstood.
No, actually, I helped cut the wood. 2 days.
All right, let's see.
But now we have slowed down on that because
Lyon County ambulance, what do we give them, $2,000 grant?
yeah, it was $2,000 grant. We gave $500 to Crittenden, and then we were spending $1,500.
Well, here, what's this? No, that's 690. Okay, now I'm gonna ask this. Buddy, how come you go early? Your bill's a lot more.
Because I wanted to.
I mean,
Why did you take me up our last time and left me and wouldn't let me come back?
I wouldn't leave you.
Yeah, you would. I mean, you didn't want me to come back. I ride up with Charlie and I ride back with my wife, and you didn't want me to get things both ways. My wife had to come up here and pick me up.
No. Well, I just think, and I think that when we go up there and eat, I have to pay for my eats when I'm down here. I don't see why we don't pay for them up there.
Why don't we just start doing it all that way? We don't charge to go up there, we don't charge to come back. Take a sleeping bag in a tent, sleep out in front of the golf house.
I'll go for it.
Okay, I'll go if you will. You see why we're getting sued now, don't you?
I just think that
We're such.
My sister lives up there, so y'all can do whatever.
Yeah, okay.
I'll stay with her.
Well, my son lives up there. I can go over with him if I have to.
two of us leave in the morning.
We can stay with her.
Please don't do that.
I ain't gonna get in because I'm sleeping out in front of the road.
No more than I go.
All right, let's vote on these claims.
Okay, I got a motion to pay the claims, including the Airmark bill, which doesn't include, for some reason, problems we've had. We're still working on those.
What is that?
The Airmark.
I make a motion, we pay the claims except for.
Is that,
That's not counting the problems we're having. We're still making them come back
Okay, and what about these, the uniform?
Yeah, that's part of it. That's part of what we're talking to them about.
You know, that's, people don't realize when we started, we didn't furnish a uniform, and now that's going to be a pretty expensive item.
Well, it's not just now. I mean, you've been providing uniforms.
That's
since
what
I've
I'm
been-
talking about, yeah, no, I'm not
Since
talking
every
about
year.
this now. They gotta realize when they don't get much of a raise, that that's part of the raise.
Well, I looked into them buying their own clothes, or us buying them clothes and washing them, and they told me that this court voted to do that as a benefit for them, so I backed off.
You're
and I didn't mess
exactly
with
right. We did, but
it.
now.
I didn't mess with it.
We, I didn't know we could do this.
I'll second that. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. All right, motion passes to pay the claims. Clerk's report.
Sarah,
I want to commend my office staff on a hard job accomplished, because they had a lot put upon them on this last month with the boats and the carryover on the commercial trucks and stuff, and so they worked very, very hard, and in their efforts, they have, we've turned over to the county excess fees in the amount of $31,526.28, and year-to-date, $143,486.10.
Good work.
Thank you.
Okay, I move that we approve the clerk's report.
second.
All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. Motion passes. Sheriff's report.
Make a motion to accept that, because Sam's got his gun with him.
Okay. Motion been made and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Hear from magistrates. Quickly.
Have you ever heard us be quick about anything?
Anything, magistrates?
I wish Steve
No, I
quit
didn't talk
picking on
about
me.
I don't talk about that.
Yes.
Promise me that.
Talk about it some more. Our lawyer doesn't have to be away from here. Everybody got his thing?
Anything? No. Okay.
Why'd you forget that?
Oh,
I make a motion that we move into executive session to discuss pending litigation.
Second.
All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, nay.